With winter just around the corner, I wanted to give you an early heads up on 10 new season trends to avoid. But don't worry, I will be sharing what I think you should wear instead. Hi, I'm Leonie and welcome to my channel. Now, these videos are always contentious, and that is because not everyone is going to agree with me, and that's absolutely okay. But if you've been watching me here for a while, you know that I don't like wasting money on fashion, and even less, I hate to see you guys wasting your money on fashion. And as much as trends are exciting and appealing, there are some trends that are seriously just not worth spending on. And that's what I'm focusing on today. A small portion of today's episode is also sponsored by Skillshare, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them shortly. But for now, let's talk trends. Now, the first trend that is big for winter, and I mean big literally and metaphorically speaking, and that is oversized robes. So they're like a big, bulky, actually, no, the best way for me to describe them is like wearing a duvet with a belt. They almost look like bathrobes, but they're padded and chunky. And while I see the appeal and rugging up so snugly and warm in winter definitely does make sense, I feel that it's one of these trends that is not here to last. If you bring out one of your oversized robe coats next season, it's going to be very obvious that you are wearing last season's look. If that doesn't bother you, that's absolutely fine. Great, go for it. But these supersized, bulky, wearing a sleeping bag / duvet kind of coats, for me, something that make an impact on the runway but don't work real way. So have a think about that. There are some gorgeous shearling style long line coats and jackets, and I think that they are a much better option. They're basically a timeless coat that is modern, but it's not going to date. It's always going to be a piece that you can bring out season after season and get lots of wear out of it. That's my take on these coats, but please let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree or disagree with this one? Okay, we all probably know that knee-high boots are the hottest boot of the season this year, but what is also happening is knee-high, almost waders. And I think I was reading in Vogue recently that they were actually referred to as waders. And again, this is, in my opinion, taking a trend way too far. And while it will work on a runway and it will make an impact and just make a style statement, again, it's not going to translate very well to the street and to everyday style. And at this point, I just wanted to say a very big thank you to the team at Skillshare for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Now, I have been a part of the Skillshare community for a number of years now, and I absolutely love it. If you haven't heard of Skillshare before, it is an online learning community that hosts courses in every single thing imaginable. I started Skillshare because I wanted to reteach myself how to play the guitar. So I found a great course on Skillshare which was really easy to follow. There were no ads, so no interruptions, and it was a step-by-step course that I could follow at my own pace. After I took that course and found it so easy, I was pretty much hooked. And since then, I've taken a number of Skillshare courses, from YouTube courses to try and level up some of my videos. I took a course on how to care for indoor plants, which has definitely helped my indoor plants. And most recently, I am taking a course on how to start a video podcast. Yes, you heard that right. And I would love to hear what you guys think. I am very excited to be launching a video podcast series, which I will host here on my YouTube channel. I really just want to get back to some of my roots, which is I'm a journalist by trade, and I would like to get back to doing some good old interviews. I'm very keen to interview some of my favorite YouTubers, kind of get a little bit of an inside running on them to find out a little bit more about why and how they tick. People like Shay Whitney, Karen Britchick, and I would love to hear from you who you would like me to approach to appear on my podcast. Paulina Poroskova is another one too. So I'm very much hoping that these beauties will say yes to appearing on my podcast, but at the moment I'm learning how to actually do it, and Skillshare is helping me do exactly that. It's very easy to follow, and as I said, you can actually take these courses at your own pace, and you can go back and revisit something if you're not quite sure of how it works. So it is super fun. Now, the great news is that Skillshare are offering the first 1,000 people to click my link in the description description box below a free 1-month trial of Skillshare. Perfect timing with fall, winter coming, and perhaps you're spending a little bit more time at home. Now, I will leave the link in the description box below, but essentially it is exactly that. The first 1,000 people to click that link and join up will receive a free 1-month trial of Skillshare. It is fantastic. Definitely whip on over there and take a look at it. Anyway, let's get back to these trends. Next up, I'm going to say a big no to biker style outfits. Just hear me out for a moment. So we probably all know that moto style jackets are back, and I have talked about them a little bit in recent videos, but there also seems to be this trend for wearing a full motorcycle outfit. Pants, kind of padded motorcycle pants and moto jackets, matching sets, exactly like a motorcycle rider would wear. Now, in my opinion, these pieces look great worn separately. Wearing them together as an outfit is just a little over the top. Now, if it's right for you, again, that's absolutely fine, but I don't think it's a look that is going to really last the distance either. I don't know, I'm not buying this one, but let me know what you guys think. And just on from that, what I am seeing also is motorbike boots that are trending at the moment for winter as well. And again, these boots are very much motorcycle boots. They're not just classic kind of biker boots with a little bit of chain or buckle detailing. They are padded, real deal motorcycle boots. And again, for that reason, I do think that they have a finite life. They're not a boot that you would bring out year after year after year and get endless amounts of wear with. So I would suggest sticking with classic motorcycle jackets, your classic kind of black biker style jacket, and your classic biker style boots as well. Not the real deal that you would actually see being worn on a bike, purely because they're not going to stand the test of time. Now, I suspect I'm going to come under fire for this one, but there is a real return to bohemian styling this winter as well, and I do appreciate it. I do understand it. It's a very much a kind of a warm, fuzzy, homespun, homemade, kind of thrifted vibe to it, but I do think that it runs the risk of just being too hard to work with in terms of you need to think about these outfits to pull them together so that they look cohesive and so that they look modern and fresh. I just think that that's too much like hard work. One, it's not easy to wear in winter, and two, it's a very hard look to crack unless you invest a bit of time in pairing some boho pieces back with some more classic modern pieces, which it takes quite a bit of effort to do, and for that reason, the boho styling for winter this year is on my list. Now, I know a number of you will not be liking this one, and I think you will agree with me that we have seen a lot of oversized items in the last couple of seasons. So the first piece that comes to mind is oversized blazers, and I personally have loved them. I've really enjoyed wearing them, but what I do tend to do is when I'm wearing these oversized pieces is that I try and balance out my proportions. If I'm wearing something more oversized on the top, I will stick with more of a slim line bottom half. But what is happening this winter is that we are seeing oversized all over. This can work for some people, but it does run the risk of absolutely swamping you if you especially are a petite frame or you're a little bit shorter. Anyone will potentially be swamped by oversized pieces. For that reason, I have put this sort of oversized look on this list purely because I like the pieces independently, but I do like to balance them back with something that's a little bit more structured and a little bit more slimline, just to create a bit of a balance. To me, it's just not a particularly flattering look for most people. Now, next up, I wanted to talk about dopamine dressing, which is huge for winter. And one part of me is really excited about this. I love all of the vibrant colors that are happening for winter, and winter's a perfect time to inject some color into your outfits. But what I think we need to be aware of is just how we wear some of those colors. And in my opinion, I think the easiest way to wear some of these brights is either top to toe, so you create a monochrome outfit in the same color, or you simply use them as accent pieces, whether it's an accent on your footwear or it's a brightly colored little purse or bag that you're carrying. I tend to think that it can go horribly wrong if you're trying to anchor some of your pieces, your colorful pieces, with other bright colors, or perhaps even worse in my opinion, and I know I'll come under fire for this, but anchoring them back with black, which is sort of a safe, easy way to do it. I do think brights are great, but I think that the best way to wear them is top to toe the same color or the same tones of of that color, or just use them as little accent pieces, whether it's beanies, purses, accessories, you name it. Now, I'm not going to spend too long talking about this one, but catsuits are here, and again, I think these have to be the most impractical piece to wear for winter, and I can't imagine many people really being drawn to this trend. Again, it's a runway trend, but I just think it's a little bit like wearing a jumpsuit in winter, and when you're layered up, the last thing you want to do is try and go to the bathroom when you're wearing something like a jumpsuit or a catsuit. And I just think winter, in my opinion, is all about comfort food and not having to worry so much about how you look. I know I'm going to come under fire for saying that, but wearing a skin-tight catsuit in winter is just such a big no to me. I hardly know what to say. This winter's also seeing a real return to Gothic styling, and one part of me quite likes this. I like the idea of having a dark, moody winter outfit. The part of it that I don't like, and the reason it is on this list, is there seems to be with it a return to the sort of the old days of heroin chic, super skinny models and that unhealthy sort of Gothic styling, and I don't want to go back there. I don't want to see that. I think it's unrealistic for any females to be aspiring to be that skinny, and I think it's unhealthy on so many levels. And I suppose my biggest concern is this goth trend, which is dark and moody, and I think it's kind of almost enmeshed with the whole heroin chic thing and this return to skinny models. I could be completely wrong on this, and as I said, I do like moody, dark outfits, but taking it too far with lots of studs and that kind of real hard edge look, I think is just too far, and it's not overly practical. Now, last but not least, and this is just a little bit of a fun one really, and that is leg warmers. Now, part of me thinks that they are really practical and warm, and it gives you the opportunity to channel your inner flash dance moment. I certainly remember thinking back in the day that or dreaming of myself wearing a high-cut leotard and prancing around some New York City dance studio wearing leg warmers, but the reality of wearing them these days is not quite so appealing. Of course, if you're wearing them at home, all snuggled up and warm and cozy on the couch, or maybe at a stretch if you're wearing them outside under some wide leg pants just as an extra layer to keep you warm, but I can't really see leg warmers returning in the way that they were way back then. Maybe give a go, but proceed with caution. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see what the most wearable winter trends are for the year, then simply tap or click on the screen here and I'll see you there.